let's say I ask you to factor this polynomial. Hopefully you see that in this polynomial, the triangle is what these two terms have in common. So I'm going to treat that triangle as a common factor. So I'm going to factor out the triangle, and I am going to be left with 7x plus 2. So this is the factored form of this expression. Now, in a similar manner, if I had 7x times x minus 3 plus 2 times x minus 3, you will see that the triangle is now x minus 3. So in this case, it means that x minus 3 is what this expression, what these two terms in this expression have in common. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to factor that x minus 3 out. And I am going to be left out here with 7x. So let me just do that in black. So 7x plus 2. So I have factored that expression. Now let's do one other problem. So in this problem over here, we have y squared plus 7y minus xy minus 7x. Notice that we have four different terms, and if we look at those four terms, there is no, the coefficients don't have anything in common, or the variables, not all of them have something in common. So whenever you have a four-term polynomial, the first thing that you want to do is look for a greatest common factor. We already did that, and we haven't found any. So the next thing is you want to think of factoring by grouping. By factoring by grouping means that we're going to split this up into two different binomials. Now notice that when I do put my parentheses here, it looks like multiplication, so I want to make sure that my operations don't change. So I'm just going to put a plus sign here just so the operations remain unchanged. So now the next thing that I want to do is I want to look at my first binomial. In my first binomial, I notice that these two terms have a y in common. So I'm going to go ahead and factor out the y, and I now have y times y plus 7. Now I go and look at my second term of that polynomial, and I see that between xy and 7x, they have an x in common. So I'm going to go ahead and take out the x, factor out x. So x times y, negative y, minus 7. When I do this, notice that this term and this term are very similar, but not quite the same. What I could do is I could actually have factor at negative x, so the common factors look exactly the same. So in the next step, I am going to factor out that negative sign. So it's going to look like this, negative x. Now I have a y plus 7. Now these two terms are the same, so they are a common factor. If I factor that out, I have y plus 7 times y minus x. So I have factored my four-term polynomial. Now it's your turn to try.